Welcome to the channel. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications. Jesus was born at some point between the years 4 and 7 before our era, since Herod the Great died around 4 BC, and Jesus was born during the reign of Herod the Great. This is one of the secrets known by scholars, but rarely considered by most people. Those who created the calendar dated the birth of Jesus incorrectly, and we still live with a calendar in which Jesus was born between 4 and 7 years earlier. It is impossible to know with certainty the exact date on which Jesus of Nazareth was born. The only sources historians have to reconstruct his life are the Gospels, which were written decades after his death by people who never actually knew him in life and who were propagandists of faith in Jesus as the Messiah. Their accounts come second, third, or even fifth hand, narrated by first-generation Christians who, according to historians, were more interested in the death and resurrection of Jesus than in his birth. If Jesus of Nazareth was not born on December 25th, and there is not a single historical document that affirms this, nor a single biblical verse that suggests it, then what are we celebrating every Christmas? An act of faith, or an empty custom that we have accepted without asking a single question? Let us not deceive ourselves. For centuries, crowds have gathered around the tree, sung Christmas carols, and become emotional over the baby Jesus in the manger. Everything seems very beautiful, very familiar, very heartwarming. But behind that charming scenery lies a question as uncomfortable as it is unavoidable. Is this date real? Professor Lawrence Mikey Tuke from Purdue University says that the best evidence we have to determine when Jesus was actually born is to relate his life to famous historical figures who left abundant evidence behind. The best example is King Herod the Great of Judea, who was appointed by Rome to govern the lands that included Bethlehem and Jerusalem starting around 37 BC. This historical figure, according to the Bible, decreed that all Jewish boys under the age of 2 were to be killed after hearing that Jesus Christ would be born. Therefore, Jesus must have been born at least 2 years before the death of King Herod. According to experts, Herod died in 4 BC, which places the year of Jesus' birth around 4 or 6 BC. However, it must be emphasized that there is no evidence outside the Bible that King Herod actually ordered the legendary massacre of the innocents. As for the day, the first real reference to December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth appears in the middle of the century after Christ, in a Roman almanac that lists the dates of death of several Christian martyrs. But many agree that this date likely has little relation to the actual day Jesus was born. The most precise date that can be reached with certainty for the birth of Jesus seems to be the month of March, during the years 6, 5, or 4 BC. This is because, according to the account, on the day Jesus was born, there were shepherds living in the fields watching over their flocks at night. So then, why is December 25th celebrated? According to one theory, Christians deliberately moved their celebration to coincide with the Roman midwinter festival of Saturnalia, which celebrated the end of agricultural labor until spring. However, Andrew McGowan, professor at Yale Divinity School, suggests that the date of December 25th may have been chosen because it is exactly 9 months before the supposed date of Jesus' crucifixion, March 25th. In fact, in the early days of Christianity, the celebration of Jesus' nativity, that is, Christmas, was not even important. The first reference to December 25th dates to the time of Emperor Constantine, who legalized the practice of Christianity. Only after that did the proselytizing of this religion become permitted, and with it arose concern for the conversion of the pagan population. For this reason, much of Christian tradition was shaped to be easily interpreted and accepted by a Greco-Roman audience. Because what we now consider a sacred date was for centuries nothing more than a point on the Roman calendar. In fact, during the first 3 centuries of Christianity, no one celebrated the birth of Jesus, much less in December. Do you know why? Because in the Jewish world of that time, celebrating birthdays was considered pagan, profane, even heretical. Rabbis would never have thought to celebrate the day one was born. What mattered was how one lived and how one died. But be careful, because we are not talking about a simple miscalculation or an innocent confusion. No, we are talking about something much deeper. How a date foreign to original Christianity was imposed centuries later for theological, political, and symbolic reasons. December 25th was the conventional date when Dionysius Exiguus created his dating system. This date was chosen because it was the feast of the unconquered sun, an Eastern god who had been elevated to official imperial cult status by Emperor Aurelian at the end of the 3rd century. From the reign of Constantine, and especially under Theodosius, who made Christianity the official religion, evangelization efforts involved overlaying Christian celebrations onto pagan ones to facilitate conversion. For this same purpose, many aspects of Christianity and of Jesus himself were identified with ancient gods. The choice of the unconquered sun served as a metaphor that Jesus was the new sun who had come to illuminate the world. The place of birth is also a subject of debate. Christian tradition holds that it occurred in Bethlehem, an ancient town in Judea from which Joseph's paternal family supposedly originated, descendants of King David. In this way, the Jewish prophecy announcing that the Messiah would come from that town and from the lineage of the most important monarch in Israel's history would be fulfilled. However, a difficulty arises. Jesus is known as the Nazarene, that is, from Nazareth, a settlement located farther north in the region of Galilee, where Joseph and Mary lived. To explain this apparent contradiction, the Gospels recount that a census ordered by Rome forced people to travel to their places of origin, which would have led the Holy Family to travel from Nazareth to Bethlehem during Mary's pregnancy, where the birth would have occurred. Jesus is said to have been born in Bethlehem in both Matthew and in Luke. In fact, modern historians widely believe that Jesus was not born in Bethlehem, but in Nazareth, the hometown of his parents Joseph and Mary. At that time, Judea was a client kingdom of Rome, but not fully integrated into the imperial system, making it unlikely that their inhabitants would have been subjected to a census, especially considering that they did not pay Roman taxes until some years after the death of Herod the Great. Thus, another possibility arises, that Jesus was born in Nazareth. But this hypothesis is not without problems either. Although Nazareth exists today in what is now Israel, some researchers suggest that in the 1st century it may not have been a proper settlement, despite archaeological evidence of human presence in the area centuries before Roman domination. Beyond the dates, the birth of Jesus is affirmed spiritually, historically, and scientifically, and perhaps we will never know the exact date. But what we celebrate on December 25th is the birth of the one who paid with his life for our sins, and that is what truly matters. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mystery. If you liked the content, don't forget to like it, leave your opinion in a comment, share it, and of course subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming investigations. See you next time. M.X.